Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, it's NFL season and I'm still hyped about it. It's week 3. We had week 2 games just wrap up. We had the Monday night game happen. I'm recording this right before we have the Thursday night game, the not so great Thursday night game, but we've got some storylines to get into. Hey, NFL's crazy. It's wild. I might even make a wild bet today that kind of terrifies me, but I decided to make it because I thought it would be funny, and I don't believe that it could happen. And I kind of seen it somewhere else, and I want to throw my hat in the ring to make that bet as well. So let's get it. Let's get it. Okay. Let's talk about week 2, how it went, where did I go wrong? What game surprised me? All this and that. We'll get into some storylines as well. We started off Thursday Night Football, Packers, Commanders. I thought it'd be a little bit closer of a game. If anybody watched it, it wasn't incredibly exciting. It felt like the Packers kind of held that within their hand the entire game. I know it seems that it's within 9 points, touchdown and a field goal, but it honestly wasn't a great game. Jaden Daniels didn't look all that great. The Packers look absolutely phenomenal with the new acquisition of. Sorry, I'm just looking at these stats real quick. But, we got the new acquisition of Michael Parsons. He's been electric for that defense. Jordan Love, look, let's just have this conversation right now. When he got drafted, when Aaron was still on the team, I was one of the back Aaron people, and I didn't like it. I didn't think Jordan Love was going to turn out to be the Jordan Love that he is today. And boy, am I happy I was wrong because he is incredible, guys. Jordan Love is incredible. He's a great QB. I still have faith in the Commanders, even though I'm an Eagles fan. The Commanders worry me the most in this division because Jaden is that guy. He didn't have a great game, only threw for 200 yards, 2 TDs. He didn't have any interceptions. But yeah, it just, they kind of looked flat all game, if I'm not mistaken. The only thing I don't like about this Commanders team is their running game. I don't think Austin Eckler is a do it all back. I think he's a scat back, can catch passes. He's not the greatest runner of the football. He wasn't when he was a Charger. He was great for fantasy because he always had like 100 receiving yards and a touchdown every week. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, I'm not too familiar with this guy. Maybe he turns out to be their full time back. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this game wasn't that great. Anybody who watched it would agree with me. So we will go ahead and move on to the Sunday slated games. Giants Cowboys. Wow, that was electric. I told you guys that division games can get kind of hairy in situations. Like, I don't think anybody thought the Giants would be in it, would take the Cowboys to OT, and would put up 37 on a Cowboys team. But who is the real MVP of this game? Brandon Aubrey. That guy is insane. Look, I had a bet on the Cowboys to cover the spread. They're down. Granted, I still lost the bet, but they're down driving the football with like 30 seconds or less in the fourth quarter with the Giants up 3. They get stopped at like what felt like the Cowboys 40, or I guess it'd be the Giants like 45-yard line. He banged it through the uprights from like 60 plus yards. It was insane. Let me see this. 64-yard field goal. That is insane. I don't know if any of you guys have tried to kick a field goal, but Brandon Aubrey is that guy. And he's the first ever kicker to not only have a game tying / game winning field goal in the fourth quarter, but also to have a game tying, game winning field goal in overtime. So he did it in the fourth quarter, then bangs a 46-yard field goal in overtime to win that game. Honestly, the Giants look really good in this game, but it could just be one of those like, oh my goodness, they over exceeded expectation games. I still don't think that the Giants are all that great of a team. Cameron Scadaboo, the guy that loves to take type shit pictures all over Instagram, 45 yards, 1 TD. Russell Wilson put up 30 of 41, 453 TDs and an interception. My Lord, this looked like MVP competing against Tom Brady in Super Bowls, Russell Wilson, when he played on the Seahawks. Dak, 38 of 52, 361, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Javonte Williams had 97 and 1. CD had 9 receptions for 112 yards. What's weird, my dad called somewhat of this. My dad called a stat pretty well in this game. He went, CD had that drop last week. CD will have a game this week. And I kept telling him, like, I don't know. This game is either going to be insane to watch or it's going to be a blowout and Dak's not going to have to throw the ball at all. So I kind of argued against him, saying that, like, it's not as absolute fact as he thought it was in the moment, but he was right. So I'll give it to my dad. Dad, you called that. Malik Neighbors, he's on my fantasy team, and boy, am I happy about that. 9 receptions, 167, 2 TDs. Look, I'm not going to get into every stat of every game. Some of these games were kind of, but some of these games were really good. And then when we come across the game, I'll talk about the crazy bet that I want to make. Seahawks Steelers, this game did not go the way I expected it to. The Steelers defense still not looking great. The Seahawks pulled off a 14-point win over a Steelers team that I thought maybe had a chance to win by 14. I don't know where they went wrong outside of their defense. Aaron didn't look all that great through 2 picks. Jaylen Warren didn't run all that great. Sam Darnold out here looking like he was on the Vikings still, 295, 2 TDs, but he did have 2 picks. Kenneth Walker, one of the best fantasy running backs when he's healthy, 13 carries, 105, 1 TD. I'm not too worried about this Steelers team at this moment. I mean, they're 1-1. They lose to the Seahawks. It is what it is. Every team is going to have a loss. They probably shouldn't unless they're undefeated. But Aaron didn't look that great. The Steelers defense, after paying all that money to J.J. Watt's brother, TJ, not looking that great. I don't know. I don't know if it's learning the offense thing with Aaron, if the defense, I don't know what's wrong here. The Steelers defense has always been their Achilles, always been like the best thing about this team, right? And then they pick up Aaron Rodgers, who is going to be an absolute Hall of Fame player, or is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's had that career already. Thinking that he's going to come in here, carry this team, could just be an off day. Who knows? But yeah, the Seahawks steal one from the Steelers by 14. Blowout. The next game on the slate was the Rams-Titans. We're not going to talk too much about this one. The Titans did put up more points than I expected them to. I thought this would be an under game. Rams look good. Rams win by 14. Puka Nacua had a great day. Cam Ward, unfortunately, this team is just not talented enough to have like early wins. It's not going to be a CJ Stroud Texan situation. So, but they did put up 19 on a Rams team that I thought could hold them way under that. Bills, Jets, Justin Fields gets hurt. Bills blow him out. This is exactly what I expected to happen. I mean, the Jets had that phenomenal week 1 against the Steelers, and now I think it's more so that the Steelers' defense sucks rather than the Jets are good. The Bills crush them. The Bills look like one of the best teams in the NFL. Josh Allen is maybe the best quarterback in the league. I mean, I'm an Eagles fan. I love Jalen Hurts, but Josh Allen is that guy. He is that guy. Patriots, Dolphins. Oh, guys, look. This Dolphins team blows. This I don't know what is wrong with this Dolphins team, but they suck. They suck. The Dolphins suck. I don't get it. Tua, Tyreek, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle. I know he didn't play, but Jalen Waddle. I don't know what they were doing when they let all these Pro Bowlers go, like Jonnu Smith, et cetera, and then expect to be a team. Unfortunately, Tua's not good. I don't know what it is about this team, but he's not good. Devon Achan's not looking great. Tyreek Hill has, I mean, he had a good day, but this Dolphins team still sucks. They got beat by a Drake May Patriots team. Look, I have more faith than anybody in Mike Vrabel, but I was not expecting this Steelers team with a half rookie Drake May playing. Not a lot of offensive talent. They have good defensive talent. But I mean, look at this stat. Like at halftime, it's 15-14 Patriots. Then after halftime, the Patriots scored 18. The Dolphins scored 13. This Dolphins team blows. And they were up in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't a good game to watch because both these teams are probably not going to be in the conversation for playoffs. But this Dolphins team blows. Is there a chance that Mike sorry, is there a chance that Mike McDaniel gets fired? I know it's early, but they had their problems last year. Then they start this year 0-2, get blown out by a Colts team. With the talent they have on their roster, to get blown out by a Colts team who does look good, they do. I was wrong about the Colts. Most of everybody was wrong about the Colts, but they get blown up by a Colts team. Then they lose to a new coach in Mike Vrabel, pretty much rookie Drake May playing, and not anything else. I mean, Matt Collins is like maybe their best wide receiver. I mean, you can make the argument for anybody else, but like if Matt Collins is your best wide receiver, do you really have receivers that compare anything to like a Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle situation? I don't get it. There's a chance that Mike McDaniel gets fired like early. If he doesn't, and what sucks, their week 3, what is their week 3 game? A Thursday night football game against the Bills. Are they going to win that game? Probably not. This team blows. Sorry, all you Dolphins fans. You were excited at one point when they were making the playoffs, competing against the Eagles and the Bills on those primetime games a couple years ago, but that's not this Dolphins team. This Dolphins team is 0-2, looks like shit, has a Tyreek Hill who doesn't really want to play there, even though they made him the highest paid wide receiver ever. And maybe he was right to not want to play here because they suck. Good job on the Patriots going 1-1. Drake May looked pretty good. He had some incredible throws under pressure. But the storyline is Mike McDaniel is probably on a hot seat hotter than getting in a leather black truck when the sun's been beating on it in a Phoenix type Arizona. The Bengals Jaguars. Oh man, this sucks. There's some storylines in this game that suck. Trevor Lawrence, there's two storylines in this game. Let's just get it over with. Joe Burrow gets hurt, tears like ligaments, getting a turf toe injury. So he's going to be out like, what did they say, like 6 to 8 weeks? So another year where the Bengals miss out on Joe Burrow. No Joe Burrow. They do have Jake Browning, who's played a lot because Joe Burrow is constantly hurt because this offensive line sucks balls. So he's going to be out. We're going to miss Joe Burrow on the Bengals. The Bengals are definitely out of the playoffs at this situation. They are 2-0, which makes it a little bit better, but now Jake Browning is their QB, and this team is probably going to lose most of their remaining games until Joe Burrow's back. Trevor Lawrence, I don't understand what happened. I know that they have a new head coach in there. Trevor Lawrence was coming out of college as the best thing to ever come out of college. Sucked the first year, had a really good second year with Doug, made the playoffs. They were up like 24-0 in the playoffs, lose that game. And then ever since then, this team has been downhill. There's a chance that Trevor Lawrence may be a QB somewhere else when his contract's up. I mean, this team sucks. They're 1-1. They don't look like the team that we all thought they were going to be. The only thing good about this team is Travis Etienne Jr. He's good. He's a really good running back. But the Bengals lose Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars. Not a good team. Don't know what's going to go wrong, or don't know what went wrong. They have a new head coach this year. They'll probably have another one next year. That's what this looks like. So those are the two storylines out of that game. 49ers Saints. Mac Jones looked great. What? Who would have thought? Mac Jones didn't look this good on the Patriots. He didn't look this good on the Patriots. Spencer Rattler, not the QB option for the Saints. The Saints are going to be battling for whoever's the best QB in college right now when the draft comes along. Kamara had 99 yards on 21 carries. Chris Olave, 6 receptions, 54 yards. Mac Jones had 279 and 3 TDs, no picks. Christian McCaffrey does not look the same since his injury. I'll put it out there. I know that there are some injuries that can, injuries to other players that can cause this, but Christian didn't have 13 carries, 55 yards. Who remembers when Christian McCaffrey had like 100 rushing yards, 100 receiving yards every game? Doesn't seem like it's that right now. Unfortunately, Mac Jones is going to be their QB. I did see, if I'm not mistaken, that there is a chance that Brock Purdy plays this week. Supposedly he was going to be out like at least 2 to 3 weeks. And now it seems like there's a chance he plays this Sunday against the Cardinals. I don't know if that's because Mac Jones looked incredible. They just paid Brock Purdy and now he's worried about his job. Not sure. Just throwing it out there. It could be one of those things where it's like, holy shit, Mac Jones looked good. Maybe I need a play so that he quits making himself look good and look like the starter. Highly doubt it, but I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, but Christian McCaffrey didn't look good. Juwan Jennings was their top receiver. Ricky Pearsall is a good wide receiver, honestly. Coming out of college, I thought he was good, and he's outperforming what I even thought he would be. They do have MVS on this team. They do have Kendrick Bourne, who was a Patriot. Christian McCaffrey did have 52 receiving yards. Like, that's what's good about Christian in this game, is that he had those 52 receiving yards and a touchdown, but he doesn't look like the same back. I don't know. Maybe it's just this Niners team losing all those players in the offseason, but honestly, that's what it felt like. Let's go on to the next game in this slate. Ravens-Browns, not a good game. Ravens still look like one of the best teams in the NFL. Browns suck. Browns have sucked for a while. I know they made the playoffs with, Joey Flacco, but this is not the same Browns team that Joey Flacco took to the playoffs and had an incredible run with. This Browns team sucks. The Ravens team is incredible. You should be worried about them when it comes to playoff season. Bears-Lions, Ben Johnson, MCDC battle against each other because remember, Ben Johnson just went to the Bears. Caleb Williams, all that. Caleb Williams was excited he was his coach. We remember reading the text. The freaking Detroit Lions looked insane this week. I mean, they put it on the Bears. Maybe Ben Johnson and MCDC do hate each other because holy shoot, did the Detroit Lions kill the Bears this week. I mean, Jared Goff had 234, 5 TDs. No picks, no fumbles, nothing. 334, 5 TDs. No turnovers. Jahmyr Gibbs, 94 yards, 1 TD. Amon-Ra St. Brown on my fantasy team went off. Let's go, Amon-Ra. 9 receptions, 115, 3 TDs. Caleb Williams on the other side, 207, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Not a bad stat line, but when the score is 51-21, it doesn't look all that great. DeAndre Swift, not the DeAndre Swift that used to be on the Lions, 63 yards. He did have a TD, though. Rome Odunze, I liked Rome Odunze coming out of college when he was playing for Washington in that national championship. 7 receptions, 128, 2 TDs. Look, from start to finish, this game was over. I mean, the first 2 quarters, it was 14-14 Detroit Lions, Bears 7-7. Third quarter, 0 points by the Bears, 10 by the Lions. Fourth quarter, 7 points by the Bears, 14 points by the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions literally almost put up 2 TDs a quarter. 52 points. Jeez. That's why when Ben Johnson, MCDC, all the QBs, all that walked to the middle of the field after the game to say, "What's up? Hey, good luck. Good game, whatever." It literally looked like they said bye. Like it was the interaction of a dap. It was like dap, bang, I'm leaving. Even Jared Goff seeked out Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson would hit him with a later and walked off. Like I think there is actual beef, and I don't know if it's just because Ben Johnson's team looked like shit this week, or if it's because they actually don't like each other. Granted, last week we are talking about the Detroit Lions maybe aren't the Detroit Lions that they were when Ben Johnson was their coach, and now we're questioning whether Ben Johnson had anything to do with the success after 52 points. I don't know if the Lions had the same run game they did last year, but man, did their passing attack look electric this year. All right, let's move on to the next game that was in the slate. Broncos Colts. Colts. What the hell? Who would have thought Daniel Jones is actually a good QB, question mark? Is it possible that Dable is not the coach that we think he was or think he is, and Daniel Jones actually was worth the money that they paid him, and he's actually a good QB? There's a chance. I mean, what the hell is this? Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones look unbelievable. I mean, I think the biggest gripe about Daniel Jones' entire career was that he was not good under pressure. And ever since he's came to this Colts team, these first 2 weeks, he's made some incredible plays under pressure, getting hit, making off motion, getting the pocket pushed back on him, getting all out blitz, getting tackled as he's throwing the ball, a dart down the field. I mean, he looks incredible. Honestly, Jonathan Taylor's been looking like the Jonathan Taylor that won MVP, or if he didn't, he was second in MVP race. Alec Pierce, Josh Downs is an electric wide receiver. Michael Pittman Jr. looks good. Adonai Mitchell's on this team. Remember the Texas guy who runs like a 4.240? Tyler Warren was their best receiver this week, but Josh Downs is a really good wide receiver. If you don't have him on a fantasy team, think about at least benching him. But Jonathan Taylor, 25 carries, 165. Daniel Jones, 23 of 34, 316 and 1. Michael Pittman Jr. didn't have all that big of a day. It was only 4 for 40. Tyler Warren, their tight end, 4 for 79. This Broncos team did put up a fight. They did. This game was close. They were up to start the fourth quarter. They just didn't score in the fourth quarter. The Colts defense held them to 0 points, while the Colts got to kick a field goal to win the game. So, I mean, Bo Nix looked good this week. His stat line was 206, 3 TDs, and 1 interception. J.K. Dobbins, 14 for 76, 1 TD. I mean, what happened to the Broncos defense is the best defense in the league? I don't think they are, but I think the entire storyline of this game is that the Colts is honestly it might be a top 10 team in the league, and I was wrong about that. I thought they might go 0-16. With Daniel Jones as their QB, they're 2-0, beat 2 teams that they probably nobody expected them to beat. I think they were the dogs in both games that they actually, I'm pretty sure the Colts were favored on FanDuel against the Miami Dolphins in week 1, but I was not expecting this. This team is good. Daniel Jones looks like MVP, like honestly MVP level. Shane Steichen is the coach I've always thought he was, especially when he was the Eagles coach. He is incredible as a coach. He just didn't have the team or the QB yet, and now he has the QB that he wants. And Daniel Jones, remember, can run. He's way faster, way more athletic than I think people think he is when you look at him, because he's just this tall, goofy white guy. But he can sprint down the field. I mean, we remember all the memes about him getting like an 80-yard run and getting tackled on the 1 yard line and shit. But he's pretty athletic, honestly. This Colts team, look out. If you have the Colts coming up on your team schedule, you should be worried because this Colts team looks good. They really look good. The Broncos lose a heartbreaker to go 1-1 in the season. I still think the Broncos are going to be a good team this year. Panthers, Cardinals, we won't need to talk about this too much. The Panthers suck. They're going to fire a head coach again this year and get a new one next year. This Cardinals team looks better than I think we expected them to look. Honestly, I hate the Cardinals because I grew up in Arizona a lot of my life. And so I always had to be around Cardinals fans. So I don't like the Cardinals because of that reason. But I do like some of the players on their teams. This Panthers team sucks. The Cardinals win by 5. It was closer than I expected it to be. But this Cardinals team wasn't going to lose this game any which way. Yeah, that's pretty much all to talk about. Unfortunately, I feel incredibly bad for Bryce Young because he's probably going to be back up his entire career. Teteroa McMillan looked good. He had 6 receptions, 100 yards. Terry McBride was, oh my gosh, this is such a James Conner stat line. If any of you guys have had James Conner on a fantasy team, it's like you have to be reliant on touchdowns because he's not going to be a 100-yard back every week. He had 11 carries, 34 yards. That's pretty much, 3.3-ish yards, 3.4-ish yards to carry. 1 touchdown. That is such a James Conner stat line, my lord. But Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have a great week this week, but the Cardinals didn't really need to do too much in this game. I mean, Kyler Murray, 221 TD, 1 interception. Marvin Harrison Jr., only 2 receptions for 27 yards. Didn't have to do too much. This Panthers team sucks. They'll probably go on 16 this year. Sorry about it. Okay, we're going to talk about the Eagles-Chiefs game last because this is where I'm going to make my bet. A very stupid bet, but I'm going to make it. Big cat. Falcons-Vikings. Not a good game. It looks like J.J. McCarthy is quote-unquote hurt, but it's more so I think he's getting benched for Carson Wentz this week. J.J. McCarthy looked like shit. This Falcons team blew out the Vikings after J.J. McCarthy had 7 terrible quarters, 1 good fourth quarter in week 1. Justin Jefferson luckily had 3 receptions for 81 yards, but J.J. McCarthy had 158 yards and 2 interceptions. This was a sad game for the Vikings. Michael Penix Jr. didn't even have to throw the ball at all, and that's all he does, throw the ball. 13 for 21, 135, no touchdowns, no interceptions, no nothing. Their reception leader was Drake London, had 49 yards, but it was all about the rushing attack. The Vikings could not stop the run. Bijan had 22 carries for 143 yards. This game sucked. I pretty much watched the entire thing, unfortunately, because I love football, but this was not a good game. J.J. McCarthy is getting benched for the Carson Wentz experience. And as an Eagles fan, I know him more than anybody else. When he's at his top level, he might be the best QB in the league. When he's at his bottom level, he might be not even NFL quarterback worthy, not even draftable, because it's either, holy shit, he might be the MVP, or what did I just watch this guy do? Because none of it made sense and it all looked bad. I mean, we've seen him get both of his ankles sprained in one play. We've watched him have games where he throws 4 picks. We've watched him chuck the ball into triple, quadruple coverage to a guy who has no chance of catching it, or you have the Carson Wentz experience where he's probably the best QB in the league when he's at his top level. So I don't know. I think all this guy wants to do is make money so he can put like hunting tents and shit up and go hunt everything in the world. Uh, but it looks like Carson Wentz is going to be the new Vikings QB. So Justin Jefferson, look out because he might throw to you while you're triple covered. Uh, Buccaneers Texans game. Good game. Texans don't look all that great, but Bucks look great. Baker Mayfield, we love underdogs on this channel. I've said it before. We love underdogs, and I'm a Baker Mayfield guy. He had 215, 2 TDs, had a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. Wait, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, not a game. Yeah, he did have a game-winning drive. Rachaad White had that 2-yard run, and the 2-point conversion was no good, but with 6 seconds left, they scored. So Baker Mayfield, incredible comeback story, goes from the Browns. We all knew he was good on the Browns, but then he had that year where he's a Ram and a Panther as a backup, and then he goes to Tampa Bay and is incredible. We love Baker Mayfield, and I love his moxie. He's got aura. He does. Sometimes it's aura farming, but he does have aura. He's got like confidence aura. And I love that Tampa Bay Bucks episode where they like dressed him up in disguise and had him compete with fans in front of them without them knowing who he was. And he's, throwing the ball like 70 yards down the field. He's throwing the ball like 100 miles an hour. I'm exaggerating here, but I love those videos where like NFL QBs dress up in disguise and act like they're supposed to be a bum and then come out and look good. It's like when Kyrie Irving did Uncle Drew for Pepsi back on YouTube. Granted, there was a movie about it, but I'm talking about like the real thing where he dresses up as an old guy, goes out there and just crosses everybody up, makes them look stupid. I love those videos. Look, this Texans team is, look, should we be questioning CJ Stroud? He had that incredible rookie season. Last year, falls flat, doesn't look good. Comes out this year, is not looking like the CJ Stroud that won it rookie of the year. Nick Chubb's on this team after Nick Chubb, practically tore his leg in half last year as a Brown. Is there a beginning of a conversation of like, is CJ Stroud actually the guy? Should we be worried about that? I think CJ Stroud is great. And I think that he's incredibly funny. I love his personality when he's on like podcasts that I watch. But he's not performing well in the NFL. And you can only not perform so well for so long before you get replaced. It is the best succeed, the middle be backups, and the worst get benched or kicked out of the league. But CJ Stroud has not been the CJ Stroud we thought he was going to be. And I think there is questioning about him, whether he can be that guy long term. This Chargers-Raiders game, Chargers look great, Raiders suck. I thought the Raiders were maybe a little bit different after week 1, but this is exactly what I expected, how I expected this game to go. I don't really have faith in this Raiders team. They don't have a lot of offensive talent outside of Geno and Ashton and Brock Bowers. But Justin Herbert looks incredible. He had 242, 2 TDs. He was their leading rusher with 31 yards. Quentin Johnston had 71 yards and a TD, but this was not a good game. The Raiders never had a chance. The Chargers held them to 9 points, 3 field goals. Not a good Monday Night Football game. The Monday Night Football game to watch was that Texans-Bucks game. Now let's get into this Chiefs-Eagles game, and I'll make my bet. Look, as an Eagles fan, I wore my vest so that I'm not a fan of any of the teams that I'm about to bet against. This Chiefs team, not looking great. They did have a chance to beat the Eagles this week. but unfortunately Travis Kelce drops a ball, gets picked off. This Eagles team does look good. They look how they've looked the last couple years starting off. Win a couple games. I mean, what I'm worried about the most with the Eagles is Saquon. Does it all because Saquon, it might be the best running back in the league. What I'm worried most about is AJ Brown. I mean, AJ Brown has had 2 weeks where he's had like 7 receptions for like 40 yards. When AJ Brown is 10 receptions for 130 yards and 2 TDs, talent level. And when you're a receiver in the NFL, my dad doesn't worry about this, but I do. It's like you want to feel like you are the reason you're winning games. AJ Brown, I'm assuming at this point, just feels like he's out there running just to run around, just to get exercise. He's not doing too much. He doesn't need to because the Eagles don't. It doesn't. Their Eagles are not required to throw the ball 100 times, or 40 times a game. They're a team that relies on a run game, passes it on third down when they need it. But I've heard them talk about how AJ Brown, there's like 8 straight plays where he ran the same route. Like he's a decoy out there. There will come a point in time where AJ Brown goes, look, I need the fucking ball and I need it now. And if you're not going to give it to me, I'll go find a place that will use my talents, level to the best of its abilities. But this Eagles team just doesn't need to throw the ball. They can run it all day long. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. Saquon Barkley is the best back in the NFL and can run the ball. Devontae Smith was their leading receiver, but he only had 53 yards. This team is all about letting Saquon run the ball, doing a tush push when it's first, second, third, fourth, or, red zone and short. They will literally run that tush push like 4 times in a row because eventually it'll work. I honestly do think that it will get banned. After this year, it's definitely going to get banned. That play is too good with the Eagles. They run it way too well, and Jalen Hurts can squat like 1,000,000 pounds. And you have Saquon Barkley. Like, Jalen doesn't even need to do it. Saquon Barkley could do the tush push. But that was my gripe about the Eagles. They win this game. They pull one off. They're 2-0. They look good. This Chiefs team starts off 0-2. And I'm going to make this bet knowing that the Chiefs could go 0-3. No 0-3 team will win the Super Bowl. Not a single 0-3 team will win the Super Bowl. And I'm about to bet against it, knowing that the Chiefs are 0-2. Look, Pat Mahomes, 187, 1 TD, threw a pick because Travis Kelce let it bounce out of his hands. Pat Mahomes was their leading rusher, 66 yards and a touchdown. Travis Kelce was their leading receiver, 4 receptions, 61 yards. But no 0-3 team will win the Super Bowl. And I'm about to bet against it. Because if any 0-3 team wins the Super Bowl, I will tat their mascot on my neck. And I'm not going to enjoy that because I'm wearing a literal Eagles vest to show you that I've been a lifelong Eagles fan. I will get, if an 0-3 team wins the Super Bowl, I will get their mascot or their logo, whichever one anybody's happy with, tatted on my neck so that it has to be there all the time, always. Damn well knowing I'm an Eagles fan. So let's say the Chiefs go 0-3 next week, or they lose next week and they go 0-3, then go on a run to win the Super Bowl. I will get their logo tatted on my neck. On my neck. I was going to say I'll shave my eyebrow or shave my head. That didn't feel serious enough for me to tell you how serious I am about not thinking an 0-3 team can win the Super Bowl. So I'll get their logo tatted on my neck if it happens. And it's not going to be an Eagles logo because they're 2-0 right now. So it's not going to be a team I want to be tatted on my neck, but I'm about to bet it. Because, let's be honest, it had to be serious enough because an 0-3 team has hella unlikely odds to win a Super Bowl. It's almost like betting that I'll go and win the lottery. So it had to be serious enough to where if it happens, I'll get nervous. The Chiefs could go 0-3 next week or this week, lose a game, go 0-3, and then go off to win the Super Bowl because they still do have Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Now let's get into these week 3 matchups. The Thursday night game kind of sucks. The Bills will win. The Dolphins suck. Mike McDaniel probably is going to get fired. Tua probably be a backup. Tyreek Hill will find a new team. I think the only thing I don't like about this game is the odds. The Buffalo Bills are 11.5 point favorites. This feels too easy to me. Like I know this is a division game, but this feels too easy to bet the Bills in this situation. 11.5 points, that's pretty much practically saying, are the Bills going to win by 10 or are they going to win by 13 or 14? And I don't know. This is what worries me about this game is the odds. That spread feels too much to me. But I think that if I was going to bet it, I would bet in favor of the Bills. I think the Bills are just too good of a team. The Dolphins don't look that great, but it is a division game. So unfortunately, it could be kind of close. Over under total was set at 50.5 points. So it feels like the books are thinking this is going to be a 28. 50.5. What are they thinking is going to be like? 32-28. Or not 32-28, but I mean like 32-18, something like that. Or like 28 20. Oh, I'm trying to do math here when I'm nervous on a podcast. LOL. I swear I'm good at numbers. But I'm trying to think at like what they want this to be. If they're thinking the Bills are going to win by 12. So yeah, I mean 32-18, something like that. Or 30-18, 20-32. Yeah, 2032 is where they're thinking the game's going to be. I think the Dolphins can put up that many points on the Bills defense? I don't think so. I'd probably bet Bills spread under. The next game on the slate, Las Vegas Raiders versus Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels might not play this week, which makes me think that this game might be closer, and I think that's why the odds are better in favor of the Raiders spread. If Jaden plays, the Commanders will cover the spread easy. But if Jaden doesn't play and you're having to play a backup in this game, which they should bench him, knowing how the Commanders' history with hurt QBs, I'd probably bet Commanders spread under total points in the game at 44.5. Falcons, Panthers. This Falcons team will win. This Panthers team blows. It's going to be Falcons minus 5.5, under total 43.5. Green Bay Packers, Browns game. Another game that kind of sucks. The Packers are going to win by more than 7.5. And I think this over total is probably going to go over. The Browns somewhat can put up points, but the Packers are just too good. Their defense is too good. I do think the Browns can put up enough points where this over goes over the total. Pittsburgh Steelers, New England Patriots. This is kind of a good game because both these teams kind of feel even to me at this point. The Steelers defense kind of sucks. The Patriots defense is pretty good. I'm only worried about Drake May in this game, and I worry solely on this Pittsburgh defense. Can the Pittsburgh defense get it together, or will the Patriots offense do better than expected? I'm going to bet that the Steelers win this game, but it's going to be like a close, slow under game. I'm going to go Pittsburgh money line under total points in the game. Rams Eagles. This is going to be a good game. I think that the Rams are better than their record displays, or I guess they're 2-0 right now. But the Rams are 2-0. They feel like they could be a really good 1-1 team either way. I do think I don't bet on Eagles games, but if I was going to, I would probably bet like this is going to be a close one. I think I would bet Rams spread over point total in the game, but the Eagles to win. Colts Titans, the Colts are going to blow them out. I'm the Colts are going to cover that 4.5 point spread, and the game total is going to be under. Jets Bucks butts. Buccaneers are going to win this game. I'm such a Baker Mayfield guy. Justin Fields got hurt. Justin Fields and the Jets kind of suck right now. I'm going Bucks -6.5, under point total in the game. Bengals Vikings, a game of backup QBs. Do you trust Jake Browning or the Carson Wentz experience? The Vikings are favored in this game, but I'm probably going to take the Bengals. I think they have too many weapons on offense. If they can give Browning a little time, I mean, he's played in the league plenty. Probably going Bengals. I mean, granted, gosh, the Vikings head coach is so good with backup QBs. It's insane. I'm going to go. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go Vikings. I don't want to bet against the Vikings after they crushed me last week. I'm going Bengals to cover the spread. I'm going under point total in the game. Texans, Jaguars, both teams that are off to really questionable starts, questioning whether their starting QB is going to be the QB to go with. I would bet that the Texans win this game. That's all I'd bet. Texans win this game. Saints, Seahawks win this. I think Seahawks win this game, but I do think the Saints can cover the spread here. I still don't have faith in the Seahawks. This Seahawks team. I'd probably go Saints to cover the spread at +7.5, and I'd play the under point total in the game. Broncos, Chargers. These teams kind of feel slightly even to me, but the Chargers just have a better QB. So I would probably lay the 2.5 on the Chargers, and I would lay the over point total over. Cardinals, Niners. Niners might have Brock Purdy back. Doubtful. Mac Jones. This game's going to be close. I think that the Cardinals are going to win this game. I'd play the Cardinals money line at +128, and I play the under point total. Or actually, I play the over point total in this game. Cowboys, Bears. This feels like one of those games where the Bears can just win it. Like somehow they pull off a victory in this game, but I don't know. I think Caleb Williams is too scared of making mistakes. This game is really close. In spread total, it's -1.5, so it's kind of like a pick'em game. I'd probably play Cowboys -116, and I'd lay the. Can I see this game being 24-25? I can't. I'd probably lay the over total. Kansas City Chiefs, Giants. Hopefully the Chiefs don't lose because they're the only 0-3 team that could win the Super Bowl. But if Russell Wilson has one of those crazy Russell Wilson games that he had against the Cowboys, then there's a chance. Doubtful, but there is a chance. Chiefs to win this game by -5. And actually, I'll probably lay the Chiefs money line over point total in the game. Lions, Ravens. This is the best game on the slate so far. Lions at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 5.5, and the over total is over 52.5. I don't think the Detroit Lions are as good as the Ravens, but I do think that they might. Can I see them getting blown out like they did in Week 1? I would probably lay the Ravens -5.5 over point total in the game. Seahawks. Oh, I guess that's a Monday night game. Sorry, I'm looking at FanDuel, so it just shows you every listed game ever. But that was the Monday night game. So we ended off with the Chiefs Giants Sunday night game, and then Detroit Lions Baltimore Ravens Monday night game, which is going to be electric. I hope it's a good game. I hope we get a good 5-touchdown, 400-yard game by Jared Goff to make it close. Do you think the Ravens will win that game, though? The last thing we'll talk about real quick is just some college stories. What the hell is going on in Texas? I told you guys I was like a judo Texas fan because I just love that burnt orange. I lived in Texas a couple times, so I've been around Texas fans. But Arch Manning does not look like the Arch Manning I thought he was going to. There's a chance, I thought he was going to be drafted number 1 overall this year, but there's a chance that he does not even good enough to get drafted and has to like transfer colleges because Texas no longer wants him to be the starting QB. Like Texas doesn't look that great, but it's because Arch Manning doesn't look that great of a QB. It's been called into question. What's going to happen with that? Hopefully he can figure it out. Hopefully we'll just give him some time and he'll figure it out. But I mean, he's had a lot of time to sit back up, and then he comes out of the gates not looking all that great, honestly. Um, let's look at the top games this week. Texas Tech plays Utah, 17 ranked. Texas Tech plays 16 ranked Utah. I just think Utah is the better team in this game. I'm taking Utah to beat Texas Tech. Oklahoma, Auburn, I think Oklahoma wins. Um, I know game days in Miami for the Miami, Florida Gators game. Still think Miami, Florida is the better and best team. We do have the Bussin' Boys bowl game. Not bowl game, but the Bussin' Bowl, what they call it, with Michigan ranked number 21 playing Nebraska. I think Matt Rule can pull this one off. I think if there's a chance that Nebraska beats Michigan, it's this year. I think Nebraska is going to win this game. I don't think Michigan is the team of Michigan past. I think Nebraska is kind of going up the ranks. I think they look really good. I see Nebraska pulling off a victory in this game. The next game we have is Illinois against Indiana. I know it's stated that if whoever loses this game is probably not going to make the playoffs. This is an incredibly big game for both of these teams because both of these teams need to win this game for a chance to make the playoffs. I do think Illinois is the better team, and I think they'll win this game. But if Indiana can pull off an upset, it's right now. This is the first time in like a lot of years that they're both ranked and playing each other. Sam Houston versus Texas. I think Texas is going to crush Sam Houston this week, but we need to see how Arch Manning looks in this game. Those are the big college football games this week. Remember, any of you guys watching, I know I don't have a lot of viewers and stuff, but I'm serious about that bet. If an 0-3 NFL team wins the Super Bowl, I will get their logo tatted on my neck for the whole world to see and wear it around and about knowing I'm an Eagles fan. Imagine if it's any of the NFL teams that are currently ranked 0-2. So that means the Panthers, that means the Chiefs, that means the Saints. Who else is 0-2? The Titans, the Dolphins. The Dolphins are another team that could light it up and somehow figure something out and go crazy. But I'll get it tatted on my neck. I'm not BSing. All right, guys, that's it for today's show. I just wanted to talk some NFL news. We do have MLB postseason coming up, and we'll talk about the games as it gets closer to the card games, and then we get further and deeper into the playoffs. We'll talk about the postseason. I'm gonna wait until then. I want to talk most about NFL because I'm a huge NFL guy. But yeah, that's NFL week. I told you guys my bets. Told you guys about my big bet against 0-3 teams winning a Super Bowl. But yeah, we'll see these storylines play out. Are the Bengals going to suck now that Joe Burrow's out? Are the Jaguars going to be awful? And is Trevor Lawrence going to need a new job? Same with CJ Stroud and the Texans. The Panthers looking for the 5th head coach in like 3 years. The Lions Bears, that was an ugly game. Do Ben Johnson and MCDC hate each other? The Vikings bench JJ McCarthy. What the hell? Is Carson Wentz experience going to make up for that? The Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield. Electric. We love underdogs. The Colts, a 2-0 team with Danny Dimes? What the hell? The Chiefs 0-2 after a Travis Kelce drop in the Eagles game. What will happen with the Chiefs? Can they make a bounce back and go on a run and go to another Super Bowl? Or will this Chiefs team miss the playoffs and suck? And then we'll be questioning all of Patrick Mahomes' career and all of Travis Kelce's career. The Bills might be the best team in the NFL. The Packers also look incredibly good. The Cowboys almost lose. A thriller. If it wasn't for Brandon Aubrey hitting a 64-yard field goal in the fourth quarter to take it to overtime, we would have seen a Giants team with Russell Wilson beat the Cowboys. Dolphins, later. Not a good team. Very bad. They stink. Tyreek Hill, new team. Tua, backup. Mike McDaniel, finding another coaching job. Brock Purdy, hopefully he plays. The Panthers suck. Wow. Yeah, the Ravens, probably the best team in the NFL right now. Honestly. I mean, it's either the Ravens or the Bills, and we got to see that thriller week 1, Monday night. But yeah, I will see you guys again next week. We will see what 0-3 teams are going to fight me for my bet. And thank you, everybody who watches. I love the NFL. I'm going to talk about it. Hopefully, I have my dad on soon or Jamie so that I have a guest on. But yeah, I will go check out all my socials to see all my social clips, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.